The Red House is a 1947 American psychological thriller film directed by Delmer Daves and starring Edward G. Robinson. The film is based on a 1943 novel of the same name by George Agnew Chamberlain. The story itself centers around the mysterious Red House, a secluded and eerie dwelling in the woods. Edward G. Robinson plays Pete Morgan, a reclusive farmer who lives with his sister Ellen, played by Judith Anderson, and their adopted teenage daughter Meg, played by Aline Roberts. The plot unfolds as Pete hires a local schoolboy, Nath Storm, played by Lon McAllister, to help out with farm chores. Nath's curiosity about the forbidden Red House in the woods sets off a chain of events that reveals dark secrets and long-buried truths.
Hi, I'm Karen, otherwise known as Classic Karen, and on this channel, I share recommendations on classic movies and television shows, as well as some insights and information on some of my favorite film stars from the past. Allow me to help you discover or rediscover your next favorite old school masterpiece. So, whether you're a seasoned fan or just dipping your toes into the world of retro entertainment, join me here on Classic Karen as we celebrate the magic of yesteryear's television and movies. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a trip down memory lane. So grab some popcorn or your favorite snack and let's get started.
The movie begins with a seemingly innocent setup, as we open to a picturesque scene in the middle of small-town USA. Pete Morgan is a reclusive farmer living with his sister Ellen and their adopted teenage daughter Meg. Fairly early on, we get a sense that something is off with Pete, who also gets a nervous, jittery vibe whenever the woods are mentioned. At the urging of his adopted daughter Meg, Pete hires a local high school kid, Nath Storm, to help out on the farm. After hiring Nath, Pete gives him a warning to stay away from the woods surrounding their farm. Pete claims that the woods and the Red House within are dangerous and even haunted. But this, of course, only piques Nath's interest. When Nath ultimately decides to explore the woods, he encounters eerie, almost supernatural screams, setting a creepy tone that persists throughout the movie. One day, Meg, Nath, and his girlfriend Tibby go into the woods despite all of Pete's warnings. Their excursion is mostly uneventful, but Meg just can't shake the feeling that she's been there before. Pete later learns that they entered the woods and becomes aggressive with Meg for having disobeyed him, going as far as threatening her with a beating. It's about a week later, and Pete gives Meg a watch as an early graduation gift in an attempt to brighten her mood. As he helps her with the watch, he apologizes for his past behavior before again requesting that she stay out of the woods. Meg explains that she didn't really disobey and that she's always wanted to go into those woods, that it's as if she belongs there. She thanks him for the watch before heading back upstairs, where later that evening, she again sneaks back into the woods. This time, her trip into the woods proves fruitful as she spots an abandoned red house. As she stares from the hillside, she again feels drawn to the secluded area of the woods. It's then that she encounters Teller, a creepy hired hand who's just as sketchy as Pete. Teller shoots off a few rounds with his gun in an effort to scare Meg away. While attempting to run away, Meg falls and injures her leg before eventually being found by Nath. Nath and Meg, driven by curiosity and teenage rebellion, start digging into the mystery of the Red House. As they get closer to uncovering the truth, Pete's behavior becomes more unhinged. Pete's continued paranoia and possessiveness over the house and its secrets become genuinely disturbing. It's here that we begin to see Pete's transformation from a protective father figure to a menacing, unstable man. The tension hits its peak when Meg and Nath discover the horrible truth. The Red House is indeed tied to a traumatic event from Pete and Ellen's past. Pete reveals that years ago he was in love with the woman that lived in the Red House, Meg's mother. He begged her to leave her then husband, Meg's father, but the woman grew fearful of Pete and his erratic behavior, and she screamed, resulting in him covering her mouth and ultimately smothering her to death. After killing Meg's mom, Pete was faced with Meg's father, who was of course distraught over the discovery of his dead wife. Pete proceeded to beat him to death with a bullwhip, noting how he was sure to destroy the man's once handsome face. This revelation is quite a bombshell, transforming Pete from a tragic figure into a full-on villain in the eyes of the viewer. The final act is a roller coaster of suspense, as Pete drags Meg to the abandoned Red House, leading to a violent showdown. This is when Pete's psychological state completely unravels, and the film does not shy away from showing his descent into madness. There's a haunting scene where Pete, now fully insane, rants about his guilt and the haunting screams in the woods. The movie wraps up with the mystery resolved, but at a high cost. Pete, who ultimately meets his own tragic end, serves as a grim reminder of the past's inescapable grip. While Nath and Meg, having faced real danger and unearthed buried secrets, are left to piece their lives back together. And so here are some of my final thoughts on the film. The Red House is a slow-burn psychological thriller that masterfully builds tension and dread. Edward G. Robinson's portrayal of Pete is chilling. His transformation from a concerned father figure to a crazed man haunted by his past is nothing short of terrifying. The film's exploration of forbidden knowledge, guilt, and madness makes it a compelling watch for fans of classic thrillers. The Red House explores several themes, including the past's grip on the present. The film delves into how past traumas and secrets can haunt individuals and affect their current lives. We see this throughout the movie as we watch Pete's shady and uneasy demeanor. Pete and his sister have lived a rather unsettled existence, creating a prison of isolation and paranoia. And then there's Meg, who has an unyielding connection to a house and a time that she just can't explain. The film also touches on forbidden knowledge, the curiosity about forbidden places, and the consequences of uncovering hidden truths is a central theme. And then there's madness and paranoia. Pete Morgan's descent into madness reflects the psychological impact of guilt and fear. And lastly, there's the theme of family and loyalty. The complex relationships within the Morgan family and their loyalty to one another despite their secrets play a crucial role in the film. The Red House is also notable for its atmospheric cinematography and its use of light and shadows to create a sense of suspense and foreboding. The isolated rural setting and the eerie, almost supernatural portrayal of the Red House contribute to the film's haunting ambiance. Though not as well known as some of the other films from the era, The Red House is appreciated for its psychological depth and strong performances, particularly by Edward G. Robinson. The atmosphere, filled with creepy woods, mysterious screams, and dark secrets, keeps you on edge throughout the film.
That's it for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed revisiting the movies and shows of yesteryear as much as I have here on Classic Karen. If you've liked what you've seen and want to keep the classic vibes going, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. Until next time, keep it classic, my friends.
And while it may not have the gore of modern horror films, The Red House excels in psychological horror, making it a must-see for those who appreciate a well-crafted, eerie tale.